This program is intended for mature audiences and may contain some material that is not suitable for everyone, including violence, coarse language, and unfiltered opinions. We do not endorse the views of those we report on.
Before we begin in earnest, I want to also say that this morning marks my counteroffensive. Speaking of war, this morning literally marks my counteroffensive, where I go on the counterattack and try to right the wrongs that have been happening here recently. Wish me luck, folks. I'm gonna need it, but yeah, I'm gonna be launching a major counteroffensive starting this morning, and we're gonna see if we can't right the wrongs and put everything back the way it was before all the bullshit happened. Right? Gonna try anyway. Now, obviously, I cannot bring back my mother. She's gone, sadly. I cannot save the mind of my ex-wife. That's gone permanently. I can, however, maybe save my kids. We'll see. It all depends on how things go. But I can possibly get my kids back and save my children at least. But the wife and the mom are gone. There's no saving them. There's no bringing them back that I'm aware of. They're gone, and that's just it. So, and that's unfortunate. But I might be able to save the kids, get them back, and of course, recover what rightfully belongs to me, and recover the various monies that are owed to. I mean, I got a whole bunch of people owing me money, and nobody wants to pay me. So, now I've got to go on the counteroffensive and demand the money in court and try to get it back. It's ridiculous. I shouldn't have to do that shit, but unfortunately I do. Now, either my encounter-suited friends or the gods, or even, if the gods commission me to do something, maybe we can prevent that from happening. But as it stands right now, because I asked them and they sent one ship, and that one ship went sailing right over my head, completely silent, no noise of any kind, and a deep, dark red, almost to the color of blood. Now, there was a little bit of white in there, but I think that was just the changing of the lights or something. But yeah, that was my take on it. You're free to interpret it how you will, but I mean, that deep, dark red was not a good sign, in my opinion. I cannot believe that Ron DeSantis allowed Bill Gates to release them goddamn mosquitoes. Ron DeSantis, I'm telling you, Ron DeSantis needs to be held for charges of murder for every person that dies from them damn mosquitoes. Now, will he? Oh, of course not. Fuck no. But should he? Yes. Just like Governor Cuomo should have went to jail when all them elderly died when he gave them all the jab in the nursing homes and urgent cares and that sort of thing. Man, oh man, buddy. That's just horrible. So we are definitely in dark times. There's no question about it. I get bit by one of these mosquitoes. I'm a dead man. I'm going to be 60 years old here in just a few days. In fact, I'm going to be 60 tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday, folks. I'll be 60 years old. And if I get bit by one of these mosquitoes that have the mRNA technology in it, I'm a dead man. I'm just going to kill over dead. I don't get a chance to fight it. I'll be dead. Now, luckily for me, I've been taking my secret weapon all this time. So maybe my secret weapon will protect me. But there's no guarantee of that, now is there? We can hope that it does, but there's no guarantee. So I've got to hope that the gods are with me and that my encounter-suited friends are with me and that I can use my magic to help protect me, which I'm going to be hitting the books, learning some more protection spells and shit. Damn. Anyways, what I wanted to discuss this morning, because obviously I got a big honking picture of George Washington up there, is the fact that there is some disinformation going on, and it needs to be addressed. Obviously, the internet is the one that is putting out this disinformation. And so I'm going to tell you their version first. Then I'm going to tell you the real version. Okay? Because if I tell you their version last, in some people's minds, that will be the one that's true. And I don't want that to be. Fast forward to the Civil War. One of the wars that George Washington was shown in his vision from the angel. You have General McClellan. Says, you got General Washington sitting at his desk writing paperwork. Then you got General McClellan sitting at his desk working on maps. Something similar happens to George McClellan. He's sitting there working on his maps, and he gets a visit from a being of light. And this being of light is said, "Hey, you got a traitor in your midst." And I'm getting goosebumps now talking about it. He says, "There's a traitor in your midst." And the general's like, "Oh wow, really?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it says, the Confederacy is getting ready to do a counteroffensive on every position you've got, every single one, all of them. He's like, "Oh my gosh!" And so this being of light shows him exactly where to place his troops to counter these counteroffensive, because of the traitor that was in his midst was telling him everything that they were doing. But then it gets interesting, because when the light dims and this being comes forward, he sees that it's none other than George Washington himself. Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps. Anyway, so powerful shit. Okay, amazing, powerful shit that is. And I'm got goosebumps on my goosebumps here talking about this shit. It's just amazing. But listen to me, all right? I want to bring up the claptrap fucking bullshit that's on the internet, because the information on the internet is not always the truth. I mean, the internet says that I killed my mother, raped my wife, and raped my children. Did I do that shit? No, of course not. But you got a bunch of assholes out there claiming I did. But that doesn't make it true. Okay? It doesn't make it so. So you got to be very careful. But see, that makes me so mad I want to scream. Because like I said, every time I talk about George Washington's prophecy or McClellan's vision, I get goosebumps on top of my goosebumps. Why? Because it's real, because it's true. Because it really happened. Now, for this third war in air quotes, doesn't have to be guns and bullets. It can be psychological warfare. It can be electronic warfare. It can be a financial war. But for whatever reason, the entire world is arrayed against the United States to destroy it. And according to George Washington's prophecy, a being of light, they call it an angel, a being of light comes down with a flagpole and the American flag, and he slams it into the ground. And he says, "As long as this flag stands, America shall not perish from the face of the earth." Powerful shit. Powerful shit. And for them to demean something like that with a bunch of lies, that just makes me want to scream. Anyway, I wanted to discuss that because it's interesting that on the eve of my going to discuss this very matter, I too am going to be mounting a counteroffensive to try to reclaim my inheritance, to try to reclaim my children, to try and right all the wrongs that were done to my mother and done to my ex-wife. No small task, folks. No small task. And especially concerning the fact that all that hate's out there, lying to people, telling them I did this and I did that when I didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing of the kind. Folks, I'm a model citizen. I have no criminal record. Do you really think I would do something to risk that? Of course not. Of course not. I'd be a fool to risk that. I've spent my entire life keeping my ass on the right side of the law. Not only that, but my relatives have beat my ass. Remember, folks, the Gentrys are all police officers. A whole section of my family is police officers. They'd beat my ass, man. So I had to be on the right side of the law. But in all seriousness, I'm very proud of that fact. I'm not going to do something to jeopardize that. Are you fucking high? No way. So yeah, they're gonna lie about me and say all this shit about me, and not a bit of it's true. But because it's on the goddamned internet, an employer goes and looks at that, or a businessman goes and looks at that, or a judge goes and looks at that, or a lawyer goes and looks at that, or a police officer goes, well, oh my God, Von Helton's a mass murderer. He's a rapist. He's a killer. He's a criminal. And none of it's true. Not one fucking word of it is true. Because if it was, guess what? I'd be in Leavenworth right now making little rocks out of big rocks. Well, I'm clearly not. And so it's important to understand that not everything on that internet is true.